In this video, I'm going to tell you about the reading paper. And the first thing is that it is about the summative corrections, not about the formative corrections. Summative corrections where your ticks are very, very important. You have to bear in mind that which questions you are checking in the reading paper. Are the questions those questions where the reading objectives are also to be assessed? Or are the questions those questions where only the writing objectives have to be assessed? Keep this thing in mind. Okay, and then the first thing is that you will not be deducting the marks for the poor expression, for the grammar, for the punctuation, or for the spelling, where the objective is only the reading. Okay, there you will not be deducting the marks on SPAG, right? Then where questions are worth 1, 2, or 3 marks, there you have to be particularly very, very careful how you are marking it. Read the mark scheme guidance carefully to ensure that you are crediting responses consistently and fairly. You will not be facing any problem in marking one mark question. But when it comes to 2 mark question or 3 mark question, there what happens is that if the student has written in one continuous sentence where all the responses are embedded in the clauses in one single sentence, there if you see that if the question has asked for the two responses and those two responses are there, you have to use your tick to credit both of the responses. You can't just put one tick and give 2 marks or 3 marks. If the three responses are asked, let's say that happens with the last question of two, where the question is related to the writer using the language effectively. Okay, there you have to first see that whether the child has identified the impression. One thing, if he has identified the impression, give 1 mark. If the explanation is irrelevant to the impression that is identified, of course, you will not be marking. Okay, and if the child has answered in the way that it is the clear reflection of the understanding of the impression that he has identified, you will see the two things over there. Okay, for two responses you will be marking, you will be giving 2 marks, and where you find these two responses you will be putting two ticks over there. So you have to be very careful with your ticks. For question number 1, look carefully at the acceptable responses in the mark scheme and weigh up how much evidence of understanding is in the candidate responses. Occasionally, you may give the candidate the benefit of doubt where the answer is partial, but does give just enough evidence that the reading understanding is there. Bear in mind that where you are assessing for the reading objective, there you are actually assessing the comprehension of the student. Okay, and comprehension is not in lifting. Comprehension is essentially not in lifting. I'll give you one example over here. Co- Comprehension means you are coming up with the answer that is the requirement of the question. If you are beefing up with the other clauses, with the other words, it's okay. But they should not be irrelevant. Got it? If they are irrelevant, so of course there will be a problem in marking. I'll give you an example that if someone asks you, what is your name? The answer is only your name. Let's say your name is Robert. What is your name? Robert. Now, if the person is answering like this, what is your name? My name is Robert. So, my name is just there, it is just a flowery patch, a purple patch that has nothing to do with gaining the marks. The real answer is here, Robert, and Robert will tell, this word will tell, yes, that the student has understood the question, and that would demonstrate his comprehension. Okay, then In question 1 and 2, for the 2 and 3 mark question, make sure that you annotate carefully to distribute the marks fairly. Again, annotation is what you will be using the ticks. Where only 1 or 2 marks are awarded, the response must clearly show that the question has only been answered partially or only shown partial understanding. Partial understanding is a part of the understanding is shown. It is not explained fully. It is not rounded up well. So there also you will be deducting the marks and the guidance will be there in the mark scheme. For question number two, where the language of the writer is to be assessed critically, and the student has to come up with the understanding that how the writer is using the language effectively and what effect it is creating in the mind of the reader. Very important to tell to the students is that they do not have to come up with generalized adjectives, generalized words. They have to be specific. Specific, precise, concise, specific, precise, concise is what is all about, reading comprehension. So, for question two, examples of credit-worthy responses are listed on the mark scheme, but if a candidate offers a viable alternative idea, you should consider it. This is particularly relevant in question 2D and 2E, where candidates are explaining the imagery. And it is something that has a weight in it, and you have to see this question very carefully, because sometimes it happens that the answer is not even there in the marking scheme, but the answer is correct. Of course, we all are language teachers and we are good at it. Okay, and I am so good at it that I do not accessorize myself with jewelry, I accessorize myself with words. Okay, and I believe that all the language teachers are like me. So sometimes it happens that in the marking scheme, that impression is not mentioned. It happened in the previous papers also. It happened in the latest green book, the Cambridge book, course book, which is authored by Helen Rees Bidder and Helen Toner. There there happened to be a answer key also of that book, and there the answers, some answers, they were like not making any sense, or they were missing on the other extracts, on the other clauses which could be taken as an answer. So here you have to use your own knowledge and understanding also. Please do not deduct the marks just because they are the exam answer is not there in the mark descriptive. The answer is not there, so there is no answer. Use your own intelligence and your own wisdom also, because this is coming from the horse's mouth again. Okay, from the trainer, from the British trainer. Okay, then coming to question 3A. Let me wind up this video here and we will be covering question 3A in the next video.